my time is up, and we have very patiently Sister Manda, who's there in the background. She's seeing what we have been doing. And over to Sister Manda. Thank you so much. And before I pass it on to her, yes, you have to bear with me for a few more minutes before I introduce you to our audience. I'm not new to our audience, but there are quite a few new people as well. And as always, with a poem as well. So Sister Manda Patel is a very senior Rajoga meditation practitioner, also a senior BK teacher, I must say. And she began her spiritual studies in London in 1981, almost 40 years ago now. And she has been handpicked and personally trained by our senior Daddy Janki. She's got this rare talent for spiritual pragmatism, whereby she can translate simple but ancient truths into everyday life. And she's really a very gifted speaker on values and spiritual development. So no wonder she's with us here. She has been with us many times in the past as well. She's a truly cross-cultural person, and obviously a Gujarati and Indian, but has lived in the Western world for a long time. So she knows how to blend both the cultures. She coordinated many projects. One of them was the Peace Bus Project, which toured 16 cities in the UK in 1986. And that was a part of the activities of the United Nations International Year of Peace celebrations. And also she coordinated the administration of the building construction of the new BK Center, which was the GCH, Global Cooperation House, from 87 to 93. And also, as all of us know, the GRC, Global Retreat Center. So she was the director of that place for a long time, almost 21 years, 93 to 2021, which is one of the place, an international value-based personal development residential retreat center, and has been renovated, back in action now since almost a year. And let's again, what must I say? I mean, in the poem, I'll say a few things, but I must say Sister Manda is highly adjustable. Again, just one phone call away and she's always there at service. So Sister Manda shall share her wisdom on how to adjust so that in our life, we are away from any disgust. She, through her talks, which are indeed so robust, infusing motivation, inspiration, and thrust. Her talks are powerful. To listen to them is a must, because she shares from her life experiences, direct and first. The Supreme tells us, child, be away from the vice of lust, because this body consciousness will eventually lead you to dust. Where my original sanskars have gone for a rust, it's only the Supreme alone, the one who can I only trust. Maya, which means weaknesses, have otherwise baked me and enjoyed my crust, but the divine's power on Maya has enabled me to make it bust. So with this, I'll over to Sister Manda for your feelings. Thank you.
I'm trying to have everybody on the screen, so I'm not looking at only myself. Thank you, Manoj Bhai. That's interesting introduction, and love your poem. That's very inspirational. So hearing all of you all afternoon, well, for the past hour and a bit, and also Santosh Ben's talk on adjustments and Q&A. My own feeling is you don't need any more information. You know everything there is to know. And so what remains when you think about, you know so much. And I think that we live in an age of social media. And so it's true that so much information is available to us. And I always remember Daddy Janki, who was the head of the Brahma Kumaris for many years. And at the age of 104, she passed away. She used to say, how much information or how much knowledge or understanding do you receive as information? as what you get from outside of yourself. It's probably that much. If you were to quantify it, it's about that much. In fact, no limit to it. Out of all that we listen to, or we discover, we learn, how much do we really think about? Because really, if you, all that information that you've already had, how much is it? If you were to tap it all out, it would be pages and pages. Out of all of that, how much will you think about? And she actually literally went like, that much you receive, you probably think about that much. And out of all that you think about, how much you tell others about, as in how much do you share with other people? So it's probably about that much. And out of all that you share with other people, what do you think will be the next question that we have to ask ourselves? How much do you put into practice? So for me, that's always the thing. Learning information is one thing. So I had some ideas to share, but I'm not sure if I want to share any more ideas. Perhaps the angle I might only just take up is that in order, you heard so many ideas of wisdom, but for me to transform all of that into wisdom, for me to be able to access that at my fingertips. And again, it's not fingertips as in you kind of scratch your head and you think, oh, what should I do now? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I adjust or should I not adjust? It's not like that. When there has been this internal process and journey of the first quality is that of introspection and introversion. So all that information that you heard today, what is it that's going to help us to assimilate that information? And that is introspection or introversion. And the difference between these two, introversion is a constant state of being, in the sense that I'm engaged, I am with other people, I do the things that I need to do, but there's a part of me that is always inside myself. There's a part of me that is always in touch with myself. And so whatever might be going on outside of me, when I'm in touch with myself, then I know intuitively and instinctively how I must respond to that. You know, we are the ones who compartmentalize things. And in the Brahma Kumaris, we talk about powers, we talk about virtues, we talk about values, we talk about many different things that we have to imbibe or that we have to live by. And for me, it's hard work to think, well, I have to adjust and I have to accommodate, I have to tolerate, I have to practice this or practice that. I have to have discernment, I have to have cooperation. It's hard work. It's very hard work. It's one thing to understand it as information and wisdom, but it's something else to be able to create a state of being in such a way that whatever it is that you need to use in your life comes to the forefront of your mind and your life. This is a very subtle practice. And you can't practice directly that, but the practice is this introverted state of being, which is consistent. And introspection is the other aspect that's important to be able to develop any value. This introspection, I might have phases of that, or I might have moments of that, where I stop, I look at myself, I ask myself the question, to what extent do I adjust to situations and people? That's introspection. And it's not introspection necessarily with eyes closed, but yes, you do need quiet. You do need to be able to be inside yourself. You need solitude. And a solitude, generally we would say solitude is an important aspect of our journey of spirituality. So when I speak of spirituality, this Hindi word, solitude is very beautiful. And it's called Ekant Vasi. Ekant, to go into the depth of one. So generally we say we should be able to do that anytime, any place, anywhere, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you should be able to do that. It's true. But for this, why I'm taking this up is because I've just heard so much about adjustment. I don't want to bombard you with more information, but I want to be able to support you in being able to assimilate the information. And so solitude does mean to be alone, to be able to separate yourself from a large group of people. And doing so, as you do that, you're able to dive deeper inside yourself. You know exactly where you are in your inner state of being. You're also able to discover exactly how far you have to go. And you're also able to know what it is that you need to do in order to do that. We become very clever and very smart as knowing and understanding, and very good at telling other people what they have to do, if I may say so. But I'm very aware that before I tell someone else to do something, is it part of my life? How authentic and how genuine am I? As time goes on, I'm increasingly aware that when I speak, I make it sound so easy. I don't make it sound easy as in specifically, but understanding of spirituality when you're at the right place is very easy. And so it's possible for me to use the right words and make it sound easy. And in doing so, I might deceive you. But I also ask myself the question, am I doing what I'm asking you to do? What I'm asking other people to do? So where adjustment is concerned, I think that introspection and introversion is important, which allows me to see what exactly it is that I can do about something and what I cannot do. This introversion also allows me to see what is possible to change outside of me and what is not possible to change. And as a result, to understand that I cannot change something outside of myself. The only way I can deal with that situation is to change something inside my own self. Sometimes it's a very simple thing of a perception of what's really going on, which many of you mentioned: acceptance, cooperation, everybody playing their part. All of that is information. But the only time that information becomes accessible to me is when I'm inside myself. And then secondly, an important aspect of my way of being is that consistent connection and relationship with God. I'm also aware that the moment you use the word God, other than BKs, Brahma Kumari students, some people, they kind of get, uh-oh, here comes God. I'm not sure if I really like this. But let's just say not even God. Let's not use the word God. But what has to be my point of reference in any situation to be able to adjust myself? This point of reference of absolute love. An absolute, a state of benevolence. And these two qualities, love and benevolence, and in love, generally we would say only God has unconditional love. And it's true, human beings are not said to have unconditional love simply because we know that whatever we do, we get the return of it. Something's going to come back because I've done something good. No question about that. So in a sense, we're never unconditional. But what is important to know is that I mustn't deliberately or consciously create a thought of a return or reciprocation of some sort. You know, there's this beautiful expression in Hindi, neki kar darya mein dal, means do something good and think as if you've thrown it into the ocean. Why? Because the ocean is so big. Whatever you throw into the ocean is just going to disappear. You're never going to be able to find it again. It's going to be gone. In the same way, anything good that I do, can I think of it as I've done it, and think about the world. World is right like an ocean, so vast, so big. And as a result of this, also, whatever I do is never going to be enough. So, you know, this word adjustment, as I was thinking about it, I came up with some words like rejig. You rejig something. Adjustment is meant to be very tiny. It's not huge. Or adjustment as a, what was the other word that I liked? That I had a rejig or rearrange, or so it's just little tweaking that happens. And yet inside our heads, when we have to make this adjustment, it's huge, it's massive. It could be a tiny little thing to perceive something in a different way than it is. And I do like this idea that, you know, God, this unconditional, constant being, always available, never not available. We're the ones who are not available, or we're not available to him, or sometimes we're not available to ourselves to be able to access God directly. This is a very interesting thing to consider, that I am not accessible to my own self because I'm preoccupied in perhaps distractions. So when it comes to this rejigging, this rearranging, this readjusting a little bit, it's a very, very small thing. And the point of reference is God, because God is this unchanging, constant energy that never changes from his benevolence, never changes from his unconditional state, never changes from being available. And if that's my point of reference, then my rejigging of my ideas or my perception, what is it that stops me from making that slight adjustment in a situation or in my thinking or in my perception? Ultimately, it's not about right or wrong. There is nothing, everything is right, and you could say everything is wrong. The reality is everything just is. The only place where there is a state of equilibrium is inside my own self. If I deviate slightly towards this is right, then I've actually moved from that place of equilibrium inside myself. We obviously accept that if I move slightly towards the wrong even, or think that this is wrong, what happens? I've also moved from my state of equilibrium there as well. Does God ever, do you think, move in this way? Does he ever change from one spectrum to another? Or anything else in between for that matter? I don't think so. Two people, I always love this example, where two people will have an argument with each other or will get upset with each other. One will go to God, the other one will go to God. And what will God say? God will give love to both of them and say, you know what? Don't worry about it. Forget it. Just move on. The other one will go and he'll say the same thing. God doesn't say, but you know what? You shouldn't really have said that. It's only when God accepts me that I begin to look at myself and I think, you know what? Actually, it would have been better if I hadn't said that, or if I hadn't done that. This is interesting. I feel that to be able to adjust inside ourselves, we have to make God our point of reference. This constant, unchanging force. And it's true, all the things that you all mentioned, you have to have tolerance. You have to, and I love this aspect that someone mentioned, and it's something that I always speak about, that when you are young, when we were young, living in India, big families, uncles, aunts, cousins, there'd be dozens of cousins around, but you always felt held. But also, it's because of that, we always learn to adjust. We never, living with, in a family of 15, 20 people. Some people had bigger families, but we had about 15 or 20 people in our family. When a child, one child, if mum gets upset with the child will go in the lap of the aunt, or has a little fight with one cousin, there's 10 other cousins to play with. So children always grow up with this ability to accept whatever comes their way, and they're okay with that. And they learn, and this is why in the West, where there's more the system of nuclear families, where you have mother of two children or three children, if they're lucky, and then mom and dad, and closed within the four walls. And when that happens, how small our thinking becomes, how small our perception of what's going on becomes, and what's right and what's wrong, what's good, what's bad. What stops us from adjusting is these judgments of what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad, what's high, what's low, what's sin, what's charity. Of course, there are things that are right, and of course, there are things that are wrong. However, how much do I imbibe them inside my own self? I learned to develop prejudices and biases that make me take position and a stance. The position is big, the stance is big, but the adjustment is very small, very small. And that adjustment also in terms of our relationship with others, that, what everybody wants to experience is a sense of belonging, a sense of connection with someone, but with a group of people. And what allows people to warm to us, Dadi Kumarka was the head of the Brahma Kumaris before Dadi Janki. So I don't know, how long was she head for? 40 years, something or like that. She was head of the Brahma Kumaris. She had this incredible ability that whoever came in front of her, she made them feel if she belonged to them and that they belonged to her. Especially when in India in the 70s, where people from abroad started to go to the Brahma Kumaris, some people would wonder, are these people really spiritual? Are they really vegetarian? Are they really not eating onion and garlic as the Brahma Kumaris don't? And they had to be assured, yes, they understand and they're following that. Lady Kumarka never raised a question because she looked into the eyes of people and she completely loved and accepted them as the children of God. And if anyone was even slightly off or was not what they might project to be, but being in that is company, her adjustment was such that it didn't even feel like adjustment. It was total acceptance, total belonging. Even beyond acceptance is belonging. Her belonging was such that they wanted to then be what she wanted them to be. So when someone was asking the question, oh, I'm the one who has to adjust all the time. Well, in a word, yes. But also not not yes out of compulsion. But that yes takes the form of this kind of sense of belonging. And actually, if you do it from that place, nobody can take advantage of you. If you adjust to other people from a place of lack of self-worth, lack of self-respect, where you think, oh, well, you know, I have to do it because I'm this is what I can do, I can't do anything else, or other people, well, they're my superiors and I must obey, or from a place of ego, I know and I'm the one who can do it, I'm the martyr, and so I must sacrifice myself for everyone else, then people will say, go ahead. People will take advantage. But if I do it with a self-respect, whereby I can even say to them, you know what, I'll do this, but this time. Or I'm doing it because of X, Y, and Z. So it's being able to know who you are, what you are, and doing whatever it is that needs to be done. And nobody can take advantage of you at that time. This is the power of spirituality and recognition. And this aspect of a sense of belonging, which naturally brings the ability, like Manoj Bhai gave the example, or someone gave the example of the mother. The mother adjusts to her children. She doesn't feel, oh my God, how long am I going to keep adjusting for? But her love is so great that she's able to give the children whatever it is that they need. She's not going around saying, I'm the martyr. No, I love my children. And that's why I do what I do. And yes, you know, if there is slightest bit of acceptance, I'm doing it because they will do it for me. When I'm older, even that will backfire because children will pick that up. So it's a small thing in a sense, adjustment. But we have so much wisdom to be able to apply that wisdom at the right time in the right way is the essential aspect. And for that, I need power. But it's not wham, bam, crash power. It's this soft, gentle focus. And a focus also of presence. Focus of being aligned inside yourself, with yourself, and being aligned to God. Your intellect opens, it's clear, it is able to see what's going on, it's able to perceive what's going on, is able to respond to that in the right way at the right time. The intellect, that's what we might say, your youth is able to perceive what is to come in the future too, and know that now. The power, that subtle spiritual power, is also the ability to sense beyond the limitations and confines of space and time. Space and time as in this space, this time. And this is why we're also the ones who know the three aspects of time: the past, the present, and the future. Of ourselves, of the world, and others. And it's nothing to do with specific situations and circumstances, but it is to do with having a sense of what is to come, how it is to come, and how it is that we have to prepare for that. So as I said, I don't want to give more information, but maybe either open to question now, or we can have meditation, whatever it is, your preference. Manoj bhai?
Yeah. So if anyone has a question, please raise your hands. Otherwise, it's a beautiful time to enter into meditation with you. And then we'll see what, because the questions will stop in meditation.
Yeah.
So please feel free, because you'll not get any other speaker who directly asks you to question them in the workshop. So please go ahead if you have any questions. Right. So I think we'll go ahead with meditation otherwise, yeah. Do that.
Okay. So sit comfortably and relaxed. And I know that when you're on Zoom, it's very easy to be doing something else. I won't tell you what I was doing when I was listening to all of you. I was actually ironing, so I got my ironing done in the hour that I was with you. But for this bit, at least we can sit down. We can be present. If you're cooking, switch off your cooker. If you're ironing, like I was, maybe switch the iron off for 5-10 minutes and sit, really sit with yourself. What is it that is the most important in your life? And that question is not a question for situations or circumstances or other people. But that question is to do with your own self, for your own self, and about your own self. What is it that is the most important thing to me right now? And I'm sure it's not being able to adjust. It's one of the things. And I'm also sure that what it will be is that which brings you, one of the things is the ability to adjust. So being inside at the center of the forehead. Relaxed and aware of the soul, the spiritual energy that resides at the center of the forehead. Looking out through the eyes. Listening through the ears. But actually you're also perceiving a vibration and energy inside yourself, but also in this moment, in this time. How much am I able to stay present with this state and this condition of absolute stillness, silence, peace, and connectedness? In a sense, to be part of everything, but not of it. I am this individual, pure, unconditional energy, separate from everything outside of myself. And yet, I'm connected to everything because I'm a living, thinking, conscious energy. And my most important adjustment in life is that whatever it is I think, whatever it is that I do, whatever it is that I generate through my feelings, is connected and is affecting the world outside of me. And as such, I find myself part of the world around me. And the world around me is part of me. But the biggest and finalist adjustment that I must make always is that I am the giver. I am the bestower. I am the benevolent one. When I'm aware of my part, my role of sharing and giving, I can adjust to anything and everything. If I find that my thoughts, my feelings are going to cause harm, then I need to adjust. I need to rejig and I need to rearrange my mind and my heart to align with everything. And the greatest point of reference to maintain this internal deep sense of presence and therefore self-respect is my awareness, my quiet, open, sweet awareness of the presence of God in my life, in my mind and in my heart. This presence so stable, so constant, so readily available. And in order to be like that, myself. I recognize the value that I need to be perfect. Not a perfectionist. If I'm trying to be a perfectionist, I'm constantly expecting others to adjust. When I want to become perfect myself, in perfect image of God, then I am the one who adjusts. I adjust to keep myself in alignment. I adjust myself to keep myself in peace. And I adjust myself to be loving. I adjust myself to be centered, to be in an absolute state of equilibrium. Because that's the most important thing right now. Notice my breath. I notice my breath with the rise and fall of my chest. I notice this brown, this life force, and the alignment of this life force. To myself and to all that is outside of me. Om Shanti.
So much, Sister Manda, for taking us into this experience of adjustment and meditation. So I think over to you, Sister Anu, for the vote of thanks, and then I'll do the quick announcements, and then we'll take a small photograph with Sister Manda for the memory. People usually want that, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Manoj. I think we had some more time, isn't it? Or are we done?
No, I think we are. So if we can, because no one's asking
Yes, of
questions.
course. I think we still had 15 more minutes, but we finished sooner. And yeah, it was beautiful.
If anybody has
Yeah.
any questions, take them up.
Mhm.
We are adjustable
Maybe
in
not,
time.
I know. Manoj brother, you
Easy
have to
talk.
say that let's finish sooner today. Maybe if there
okay.
is any question we could have taken, but that's okay. I think I was really thinking, you said to truly adjust, you have to make God as your reference point because He is constant, always truthful. I don't have to struggle to get lost in like what is right, what is wrong, my perceptions. I wanted you to elaborate on that, but I know in the meditation, that's what you gave us the glimpse. Is that right? How we make God as our reference in practicality, how do we make God our reference to make adjustment in life? But I don't know if you have anything to add. It would be great. We would love to hear. But otherwise, I know Brother Manoj is at somewhere, but yeah, for service. But maybe we can take a few minutes if you would like to share.
Yeah, no, perfectly. Go ahead. It's not with me. I mean, since there were people who were
Thank you,
silent, please go
brother.
ahead. Yeah.
Sure.
The only thing I would say is the point of reference is in a sense that you have to turn your mind towards that again and again and again. And when you sit down for meditation, it's at that time to feel and to sense the energy of God to such an extent that it's just a thought away. The point of reference is that to know it, to understand it, to hold it in your mind and in your heart, to the point that every time there is a need for that reference, your mind goes to that. And God is, how far is God? A second away, a thought away, fraction of a thought away, fraction of a second away. And it's just a question of turning our minds towards that. And when we do that, that's when God naturally becomes a point of reference, actually. It is a question of me turning my mind towards that.
That's right. Very simple. Thank you so much. Yes. So it's about knowing God, the loving being, the benevolent one, the truthful one. So, and yeah, turning my mind to God so that naturally God becomes my reference point. Beautiful. You also brought the emphasis that I have to adjust. It's not about others. So I have to know what is that I want to adjust, what's my capacity or what is needed so that it's easier that I can adjust myself, not make others adjust. So it was really beautiful addition, as you said, that what is extra I'm going to bring. So it is really this whole program, starting from the series talk to the workshop, we get so much to really churn on and take it practically, the virtue to our life. So on behalf of everyone who is attending, I want to say thank you. And thank you is just a small word, but yeah, from heart, thank you. And Sister Claudia couldn't be here. So on behalf of Sister Claudia as well, let's say deep gratitude and thanks. So yeah, to wrap up, we always take our photograph, a virtual photograph. So today, if everybody can open the video, we'll quickly take the virtual photograph. Is everybody ready? People take some time.
You can adjust your
So I got
cameras or whatever.
that's a good call. Adjust your camera, bring the smile, adjustment, smile from the heart, connected with the reference point. Yeah, I got it. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So yeah, that was an excellent session. Yes, Manoj, brother, anything?
Yes,
Last
thank you so much
comments?
once again, Sister Manda, and thank you, Sister Anu, for giving the vote of thanks. Yes, so the icing on the cake is still awaited as well. As we always do, we complete the value churning and the value workshop and even the talk. The fourth thing which we do is the silence retreat on adjustment, very much in sync with what Sister Manda said, that how much do I practice that? And sitting, as she said, these two words, introspection and introversion. I think this silence retreat gives us a beautiful chance to do that. So within the next 12 hours from now, India time, 9 to 11 a.m. morning, and the West Coast time as they slip into bed on Saturday evening, 7:30 to 9:30. The silence retreat on adjustment, though it's more for the regular practitioners of Brahmakumari's Raj Yoga meditation, but I would really also offer this invitation to people who are new to Brahma Kumaris to explore that what do we do in the silence retreat. So since we have time today, so I can explain you all in a few more minutes that for 2 hours, every 1 hour we repeat in 1 hour, the first 1 hour, what we do in the second hour, and every hour we have a theme. related to that value. And we have also what we say God's versions on that value, what God has spoken about in what we call the Murlis. And Murlis are the spiritual versions, the godly versions, which was spoken through the medium of Dadi Gulzar, who was one of our previous administrative heads. And in that 1 hour, along with that theme, we also churn on a few points about adjustment, again spoken in the godly versions. And then we practice meditation on that value for around 15-20 minutes with meditation music. And then there's purposeful silence around 10 to 15 minutes, where it gives us a chance to reflect on what we, because we listen to so much, as Sister Manda said, it's a lot of information, but how much does that translate into knowledge, and that becoming a part of me wisdom is what we get a chance to do while we sit in silence. So that's tomorrow. And I would really request for people who want to, it's not compulsory to join for 2 hours. Even if you want to have a glimpse of 1 hour also, it's fine. So that's the thing. And again, our next talk would be the 85th episode. And we are now picking up a little bit of values which are a little bit hatke in Marathi, in Hindi we say, which are a little bit unique, which you haven't heard of, and you want someone to speak on them. Like adjustment was one of them. Decency, in Hindi we call shishtata. So again, it's a beautiful conversation between our two senior Rajyogis, Sister Dipti from South Africa and Brother Ashish from UK. It's coming Saturday, 2nd of March. And again, a week after that, it will be the workshop. As always, we have another speaker, and again, another very senior Rajyogi, Sister Wadi from Florida, USA. She's been with us last year, and it's been actually a while that we haven't been able to get her because of many other service commitments she had. And it was actually she who suggested me that let's take this value, and she would love to speak on that on Saturday during the workshop, a week after the talk. And this is our beautiful, elegant calendar of March. We have the values in March on efficiency and inspiration. We'll be announcing that soon in the next coming months. And if you still want to, I can see quite a few messages in the chat box. Let me just check. If you all want to, please put in your numbers, WhatsApp numbers, emails in the chat box quickly to everyone. We'll note it down so that we can send you all the invitations on the group. Thank you so much. And I think we've finished before time to this. Thank you so much once again, Sister Manda, for your interaction with us.
Shanti, everyone.